today we're going to have a look at the R33s, a rather small yet pretty powerful little handheld. Let's check it out, shall we? Hi guys, welcome to Owl's Retro Handhelds. Thanks for joining me today. So today we've got a little video that I've been dying to do for ages. I've finally got hold of one of these little beauties here, which is an R33s. It's the smaller brother of the R36s, of which some of you may be aware of. So I finally got hold of this little beauty. Looks very similar to another handheld, which we won't mention as yet. I'm going to be doing a video of that in the future, and I'm sure we'll mention it during this video today. Let's fire her up, shall we? See what we've got here. So this is in the translucent purple colour. Finally was able to get hold of this on a little website in the UK called eBay. And I'll be honest, she wasn't that cheap, although to be honest these generally are cheap handhelds, because really they're a knockoff of another handheld, that being called the Miyoo Mini Plus. This is the R33s. I got it on eBay, like I say, and she actually cost me around £60 delivered. Although to be honest, I think you could probably source these for around £45 to £50. They're just a little bit difficult to come by at the moment, partly because Miyoo are in the process of suing the company that make these due to copyright, and the fact that it looks so similar to Miyoo Mini Plus that is. One big difference though is the colour of that button there. On the Miyoo that's green. On this one, as you can see, it's kind of like a blackish kind of colour. So what have we got here? Let's just turn this down. We've got a fairly small form factor handheld. As I say, it's exactly the same size as a Miyoo Mini Plus. One of the other differences between this and the Miyoo Mini is the fact it has two SD cards, whereas the Miyoo Mini only has one. This particular handheld comes with Arc OS installed, which is a part of Emulation Station. As you can see, it's got a number of different systems involved on here, which we'll go through in a moment. So as always guys, one of the first things I like to do with these handhelds is just go through some of the specifications. So this particular handheld has a 3.5 inch IPS screen, and that's at a resolution of 640 by 480. The operating system is Linux based, and as just mentioned, the operating system is Arc OS on this particular one here. The CPU is an RK3326 ARM 64-bit quad-core Cortex A35, and that's running at a speed of 1.5 GHz. The GPU in this handheld is a Mali G31 MP2, and that's running at a speed of 520 MHz. RAM included on this is 1GB DDR3L of RAM. Connectivity wise, we've got Wi-Fi using an OTG USB port, so it's not built in, but you can pop in a little Wi-Fi dongle into the OTG port, and that enables Wi-Fi connectivity. Outputs for this is a 3.5mm headphone jack, a single mono speaker, 1x USB-C and 1x USB OTG. Storage is, as mentioned earlier, 2x micro SD cards. There's one here and one here, both supporting up to 512GB. The power for this is a 3200 mAh rechargeable battery, giving 7 to 8 hours playtime via USB-C charging. Colours available are, as we can see here, the clear purple. Also comes in clear black, white and the DMG Game Boy colour, as I like to call it. As I mentioned earlier as well, prices range from around £55 upwards. This particular lady cost me £60. Let's go through the various systems that are included in this handheld. Starting with arcade, then we've got Capcom Play System 1, 2 and 3. We've got Atomic Wave, Atari 2600, Atari 5200, Atari 7800, Atari Lynx, the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES as it's known, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES, Nintendo 64, Nintendo Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, got Nintendo DS, the Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, Mega CD, and the Sega Mega Drive 32X, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Game Gear, Neo Geo System, Open Beats of Rage, PlayStation 1 and PlayStation Portable. So there are the systems that we have here. We've got a good old favourites section as well, which I really do like. Enables you to favoritise your favourite games and play them pretty quickly. So one thing I wanted to quickly point out, as we just saw it just now, with this particular system you can put most of your game collections on as a zipped format. However, I have noticed that Nintendo 64 won't appear in its zipped form, not without editing the config file, which can be a bit of a pain because it's on a Linux based partition on the SD card. So my suggestion would be, for Nintendo 64, put your games on as Z64 format, unzipped, rather than the zipped version, and you'll see it appear straight away then. A few other things to note with this handheld, and I think it also applies for the R33s, is that these handhelds will not recognise a SanDisk SD card. It just will not recognise them. Doesn't matter what format you put it in, it doesn't like SanDisk cards. For myself, I use the Samsung cards on these. I'll put a link in the description from where I buy them, which is a company called mymemory.co.uk. So a few other things. With Nintendo 64 I needed to adjust the controls. So if we just go into a game here, we'll go into the first game here. So to get into your RetroArch settings, you hold down select and press the X button. Just wait for the game to load up, just like this. Went down to controls, and then you can adjust your controls here, because I found with N64 your D-pad won't work until you set your D-pad, well, your analog to your D-pad, which you can do just here. I've then saved that down so it stays binded. So that's a few of the things I would mention with this here. So yeah, I've had a little play around on this. I haven't had it too long. I wanted to get this video put out. I've had a good little play around. One of the things I really like about ArcOS is the background music that you can have. So as you may have seen in some of my previous videos, I like to pop all these Sonic theme tunes, Streets Range theme tunes. So as you can hear here, got a bit of Sonic the Hedgehog going. So as usual guys, let's fire up a few games. We're going to go into my normal favourite, shall we? Let's start it off with a bit of Sonic. Turn that back down a little bit. So let's do a bit of Sonic the Hedgehog, original one. You know this is my favourite game guys, so I do like to chuck this one on first of all. And Sega comes up. Just check this is in focus. Yeah, the buttons are really quite nice. One thing I don't like are the back shoulder buttons on this device. which are very solid, shall we say, for want of a better word. They're really solid. Very similar to Miyoo Mini Plus in style, as you can see here, but they're very solid. Also, as I'm going to do in another video, I've put some AA batteries in this bad boy, just to give it a little bit of superpower. So, let's give Sonic the Hedgehog a quick burn through. So they're really quite clicky buttons, as you can probably hear there. Let's do a bit of Green Hill Zone. Colours are nice and vibrant on these handhelds. Haven't adjusted any of the contrast or brightness or anything like that. They respond pretty well to buttons. These face buttons here feel quite nice. They are glossy, so they can get a bit slippery with you're getting a bit excitable with your playing. As you can see, it's really quite smooth. Oh, and there's me dying. So to jump out of the games on here, you just press start and select at the same time twice, like that. That'll pop you out. Take you back to the main menu. Let's see what else we can play. Let's do my other favourite, shall we? Scroll up for it. Let's do a bit of Mario Kart. So I've already set the buttons on here because, as some of you may know, I like to always put my L1 button as Z, as the Z trigger, because it makes it just a bit easier when you're playing Mario Kart. So let's fire this up. See how well this plays. Actually plays really quite smoothly, to be honest. I know Mario Kart 64 isn't the most demanding N64 game, but it's one I always like to try out on handhelds because it's one of my favourite N64 games. So as always guys, we're going to be Yoshi, little Yoshi Badoshi. Let's jam this up a little bit, and let's go with this one today, shall we? Just to make a change, do a bit of Toad's Turnpike. I'm going to have the sound on so you guys can hear if it stutters, how well it sounds. One thing, as with a lot of these kind of handhelds that have the mono speaker in this position, is you do find yourself covering the speaker a lot, and you really notice as soon as your finger's covered over that, it really does dull the sound out. But I guess it's positioning and where they can actually place it on the actual handheld, so not too big an issue. You can always just jam the sound up a little bit. And I'm going to kill myself. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing. So let's grab another little box here. So you're going to hear it. I mean, the shoulder buttons really do let this handheld down, I must admit. I know it's quite a cheap handheld as such, but they're solid, they really are. Oh, good God. I am not doing too well on Mario Kart today, guys. It's a bit painful. Let's just do one lap on this quickly. See if we can get back to first place, eh? Oh goodness me. Try and make sure I've got you guys in frame. I will be doing a comparison video with this against the Miyoo Mini Plus in the very near future, guys, so keep an eye out for that. Good God, jutted a little bit there. Right, this is getting painful, let's jump out of that. So as you can see there, Mario Kart 64 played really quite well. One game I do seem to find struggles on a lot of these handhelds is the Mario Golf 64. So let's give that a little go, shall we? We'll see how well or how badly this does. I haven't actually fired this up on this handheld yet, so we'll be experiencing this one together. I like to let the beginning intro play because you get a good idea how stuttery it's going to be. That's not too bad at the moment. Yeah, the sound's doing not too badly, it's not too stuttery. So as you can see, the intro there isn't too bad at all. Another place where this will often suffer is when it's doing the overview of the golf course. So if we start a game up, let's do one player, because it's just a me. So this will often happen when you get this corruption up in the top corner here, and as you saw when it opened up there, it is really quite snowy effect, shall we call it. So let's see how it does with the overview here. Bearing in mind I haven't made any little tweaks, I haven't done any frame skip or anything like that, so this could certainly be polished up a lot more with some tweaking. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, so it's going to do what it often does, whereby, see how this is corrupted up here, but as soon as you move a smidgen it comes back up. So let's have a little look here. Yeah, it's really quite difficult when you're just using a D-pad and not an analog. It's hard to apply precise movements on it. As you can see here, I can't really get that precise. Let's give that a whack in anyway. See how we go. Oh, poor shot. The sound is struggling here. Considering how cheap this device is now, it does allow you to play N64, as you saw earlier, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast. It's not, I mean, good God, look how wide the bars at the bottom have gone. Plums multiplied. So it's a bit of give and take with something. I mean, good God, look at this. Yeah, that's not ideal. Depends how picky you was as to whether you'd say this was playable or not. Without tweaking, I would say it's not very playable for this Mario Golf. But I'm sure if you tweaked it about a little bit, I mean, look at this. Yeah, it's painful. Oh, good God, I didn't even see how far away it was or anything. So I'd say that's a no for Mario Golf 64 without tweaking. So let's jump out of that. N64, as with a lot of these cheaper handhelds, it's going to be hit and miss on different games, depending on what you're playing. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's try out a bit of Metal Slug on Atomic Wave. Might help if I press the right button. Okay, so let's do a bit of Metal Slug on Atomic Wave. Let's see if this is actually going to load or not. Yep. Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Oh, sounds a bit crackly. Let's jam some credits in. Yep, we get it. There we go. Right. Let's jam this down a bit because it's a little bit loud. Let's check our focus out. Right, let's give it a bit of easy. You guys know I love a little bit of Metal Slug. Let's be this bloke for a change. Oh. Yeah, this is struggling, guys. The sound is struggling anyway. Let's work out what our buttons are. Oh, goodness me. Died straight away. What the hell? Trying to keep you guys in frame here. Get a bit carried away playing these games sometimes. Yeah, I'll be honest, guys, this is struggling a little bit here. I mean, it is, spec-wise, it's pretty much exactly the same as the R33s. I can't remember that struggling as bad as this, but they are the same specs, so maybe I just hadn't played Metal Slug on a Thomas Wave on that, but I died. Let's play a little bit more on this. I do like Metal Slug games. As I've said in the past, I never really played these much when I was younger. Just start getting into them now. And they're pretty fun little games. If you've not played them, guys, definitely give them a go. They're pretty quick run throughs. D-pad. You can hit the diagonals, but I'm just going to jump in the water again. Let's be that dude. Right, jump. Gas jump, right. So he's getting used to what buttons are what with some of these games. So yeah, I'd say this is definitely playable. There's a couple of times the music stutters a bit. Graphically it looks pretty awesome. See, sound there is not great. Good God. Now it's getting busy on screen. That is really struggling. Good God. I spoke too soon then saying that graphically it was alright, because this is struggling bad. It's really struggling pretty bad here. You can hear from the sound's pretty much gone, it's struggling so much. So this isn't winning many points at the moment, this handheld. I'm trying to give as fair a review as I can. I don't want to start. What I like to do is just play the games without any messing about with these settings, just to give you an idea of how it plays off the bat. So let's come back out and let's scud over to Dreamcast. I think we should have gone the other way, it would have been quicker. Here's Dreamcast. Let's give a bit of Dead or Alive 2 a go. I'm not really that into my fighting games, to be honest. Never really played them too much when I was younger. I've never played Dead or Alive 2. I know, it's awful. Let's see if this is going to work, shall we? I think for sake of Saturn we'd need to change the core there. Try it with a different core maybe. Yeah. Let's see how well or how badly this plays. Let's go for whatever here. Okay, so we have to press start button. Oh yeah, we've got to be Cassini, haven't we? 100%. Okay. Turn the sound up a bit. Oh, we are going to die straight away. What the hell? I don't think any of these... Oh, yeah, no, here we go. Like I said, I've never played this game in my life, so excuse how pants I am. Yay, we actually knocked someone out, yay! Again, this is with no frame skip on, or anything like that. It seems to be doing not too badly, considering we've not tweaked it in any sense whatsoever. Let's see how we get on against this lady here. Oh, that's not very nice. Oh. So do the L buttons actually do anything on this? Yeah. I don't know what I'm pressing. With a lot of these games, it used to be for me, just press anything. As you can see, I'm no expert at these games, that's for sure. You lose. Let's embarrass ourselves again, shall we? Trying to keep this in frame here. Yay! Yay! So as you can hear from the sound there, it is a bit stuttery. But game-wise, that wasn't too bad, I don't think. Considering, like I say, there's no frame skip going on here or anything. Let's do one more round on this chap here, shall we? See how we go on. Cheeky monkey. Let's give him an ass kick. Oh, the sound is awful now, guys. I will admit, it's really stuttery. So I've actually cleared out, I've put on all my own ROMs. Normally with the handhelds I like to put a brand new SD cards in both the internal and the ROM storage. It's going to kill me. Thanks, mate. So these are my own ROMs, etc. Just then gives me an idea of the actual handheld's performance rather than a dodgy ROM, etc. Okay, as much as I really dislike fighting games, let's give Street Fighter Alpha a go on Dreamcast. See how long this takes to load. Let's turn the sound up a little bit so we can hear if it's crackling or not. Error load failed. Okay, great. Got Chong-Li here anywhere or nay? Let's beat them, shall we? Never played this in my life. Let's see how poorly I play this, shall we, guys? That's good to go. think she's going to beat me, to be honest. Because I'm absolutely pouncing these games. Oh, such a... No. Yeah. It seems to be playing alright. It sounds okay as well. I think I'm going to save my embarrassment there and jump out of that, because I'm not very good at those type of games. Okay, so let's come back out of this. So we're back to the front screen here, guys. I've tried playing a number of the higher end systems on this, and I really would need to set up all the controls for each one, because a lot are trying to use an analog when this doesn't have an analog, and I really didn't want to faff about doing all of that. So what we're going to do, I know it's not a high-end system, but we're going to play one of my favourites. Because at least we don't need an analog stick for Mega Drive games, eh? But I'll be honest with you, so far, I'm not liking this handheld. I'm really not. I think if you want to use it for higher end systems, you're really going to have to mess about with this handheld. I'm sorry to say that. I really like to try and recommend handhelds that are fairly easy out of the box, and this isn't. I'm sorry to say that, but I was really excited to get this handheld, and it's been a real pain, because first of all I was using a SanDisk SD card, and as I've mentioned, this will not recognise a SanDisk SD card whatsoever. So if you're having trouble, guys, getting this to see your SD card, don't use SanDisk. Use Samsung instead, maybe, with this. Every higher end system that I've tried to play, I've had to mess about with the controls on this, reconfigure the buttons, and yeah, I get it. On a lot of games that mostly use analog, you're going to have to kind of do that. I do get that. There's no analog on this, but when every single game you're trying to play, you can't control without having to mess about. Even though this is a fairly powerful system, fairly powerful in writing, it struggles with a lot of the higher end stuff. And as much as I don't want to say this, I'll save it till the end, guys, but I think you'll know what I'm going to be saying about this handheld. And it's a shame, really, because I was really looking forward to getting this. So to cheer myself up just a little bit, we're going to play a game that I can at least play. I think, if I'm honest with you, the limit for the systems you're going to play decent on this will be N64 Max. Any of the other systems, the sound stutters, graphics corrupts, you're going to have to really mess about. And with my channel, I really don't want to recommend a handheld that people are going to have to get a degree in IT to be able to use. I prefer to recommend easy to use handhelds with minimal setup, and this, unfortunately, as far as I can see here, really isn't one of them. So let's just have a bit of a whacking about with Streets of Rage 2 here, just to cheer me up a little bit, because I'll be honest, guys, this handheld's wound me up a bit. It takes a lot for me to get wound up by a handheld, but this hasn't been a fun experience. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is basically a complete copy of a Miyoo Mini Plus, and at the moment I know full well exactly which one I'd rather use. out of this and the Miyoo. But as I said, I'll be doing a video on that in the near future, so you'll get my opinion on that in the future. Anyway, let's jump out of this, guys. That's a bit of Streets Rage 2. Love that game, best game in the world. So, to recap on this system, what are the pros and what are the cons? I'll be honest, I think the cons outweigh the pros on this occasion. So the R33s, I love the operating system. I do love a bit of ArcOS, one of my favourites. I think it looks beautiful. In regards to front end, I think the device itself is really quite pretty, only because it's based on the Miyoo Mini Plus, which is one of my favourites. Comfort wise, I wouldn't say this is as comfortable as a Miyoo Mini Plus. The shoulder buttons are solid. They're really not fun to use, the shoulder buttons, and you can hear how clicky they are. I mean, the front buttons are okay, they're quite comfortable, but the shoulder buttons are awful. So pros are nice operating system, looks pretty, and that's probably about it, if I'm honest with you. Cons, I would say the shoulder buttons are awful. The usability is awful. It really doesn't handle the higher end systems very well, not without super tweaking. I really didn't want to go into doing all that. Just on this basic overview video, I think if you're going to get one of these, then be prepared to spend a lot of time setting this up to how you want it to play. Personally, I can't recommend this handheld, and I hate to say that because I like to get so excited about all the handhelds that I show, but you've got to take the good with the bad as well, haven't you, really? Because I waited a long while to get hold of one of these. I paid probably above the odds on buying this, but unfortunately, guys, on this occasion I absolutely don't love it. Would I recommend this handheld? No, I'm sorry, I wouldn't. It's a lot of hassle setting up, doesn't seem to handle the higher end systems very well. I think rather than get one of these, I would get an R33s all day of the week. I really quite like the R33s, but then it does have the analog sticks, so you're not going to have as many of the issues having to configure all the buttons for all the higher end systems. I can't really say too much about this system. I'm not very keen, really. I waited a long time to get it, and I'm just disappointed, to be honest. So I will be doing a comparison video of this with the Miyoo Mini Plus in the coming weeks, and I'll also do a comparison against this with the R33s. I have done a video on the R33s a little while back. I'll link that at the end of this video, guys. Do give that a click. I definitely recommend the R33 any day over this. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching today. Please do give us a like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And as always, guys, absolutely love it.